Hey guys, welcome to CryoFX rentals on cold spark machines and what you need to know before you rent a cold spark machine. So a couple of things. The rental will include generally just the machine and just the power cord. The other things we're gonna know: do you need a wireless controller for it? A wireless remote controller. We don't advise on these because RF frequencies can interfere with the controller, and unfortunately if the machine doesn't work because of that, we won't know it, but that's not covered. However, we do offer wireless remotes for these that can run the machines without DMX cables, without a DMX controller. If you don't want to use the wireless remote, we can offer a DMX cable and DMX controller package. That's a controller and the cables that you plug into each machine with the power cord. Power cord separate from the DMX cables, and that will allow the machine to operate on a hard line controller is what we call it. So that is another option. Now, more importantly, we need to know how much runtime you're going to need with each machine. The packets for the machines come in pre-packaged granule packs. The smaller machines, those packs cover about 4 minutes depending on the brand and the type of machine. We're not going to cover all of that here. Just when you give us the details, we will put this in a quote and make this known to you. So generally the smaller packs are 4 minutes per pack, and the larger packs of granules, 200 gram packs, are going to be 12 to 15 minutes. Typically you can split that pack into multiple machines. However, where this gets dicey is when you're splitting it, you may not put the right amount of granules in each machine. So we highly advise you to just say, look, I need this machine to work for 4 minutes of sparks. Okay, what we'll do is we'll tell you how many granule packs that you'll need for your rental. Or you can tell us, look, I need each machine to work for 12 minutes and I have 4 machines. I need 4 granule packs. Couple of different options there. I just want to make sure that you are aware of how this works so that you can advise us or we can advise you on the right amount of packs. Because the last thing that I would want is one of these packs to be split between 4 machines and one machine got the least amount of that split and that machine doesn't work when you need it to work. Also, most importantly, when you're done using these machines, you must clear all the granules out. Dumping the granules out from the top, and of course activating the machine to completely release all the granules. Release is probably the wrong word for that, but clearing the entire machine out so that it's blowing air and it's not doing any sparks, because that's how the machines will get damaged if you leave the granules in there. So I just want to cover that in this video as well. Some other things to be aware of: if you're going to be using a wireless remote, we cannot ship the wireless remote to you with a battery in it because we can't ship lithium batteries. We can advise you on what type of battery goes in that remote, and you'll be able to pick up that battery at a Walmart or some other battery store that's a little bit more specific, not a 7-Eleven or a mobile gas station. They wouldn't carry this type of battery, but a Walmart or other battery store would. So we will advise you on the type of battery for the specific type of remote for those machines. The other options for the machines that are available: do you need your machine to be a vertical upward machine or vertical down? Spark fall drops the sparks down. That's a different machine than the vertical up where it sprays sparks upwards. Those are 2 different options. Please do let us know which option suits you best and you are requiring. Now, outside of that, with the machines, the general gist of these machines: you have a small machine and a large machine. The smaller machines are generally an on and off function. Off is clearly off, and on is going to be 6 to 10 feet in spark height. That's general, like the highest spark. Generally, it falls somewhere in between there. These are better for indoors and outdoors. Just please be aware that if the ceiling is smaller or shorter than where the granules are hitting, you may get some black spots on the ceiling. Just want to advise you on this. Now, outside of that, the larger machines have the ability to do multi-depth, if you will, or multi-height, where the DMX controller will allow you, when the slider goes up, the machine gets higher. So you do have a depth control or a height control on that. Height is probably the more relevant term here. So the smaller machines don't have that. The smaller machines is on, off, on, off. Larger machines, you have multi different heights available. If you have a DMX controller, if you have a wireless controller, low, medium, high, boom, boom, boom. You get the point. Outside of that, that's the general gist for the machines. Also some things to take into consideration. Normally you can only do 2 to 3 machines on one circuit, not one outlet. Please make a note of this because we get these questions a lot and we get people that come back and say, hey, the circuit blew, it didn't work. If hypothetical situation, when you're in a room and you're using these machines, if you have one wall, typically one wall is going to be one circuit breaker. Just because you have 2 or 3 machines plugged into one outlet over on the left side of the wall and 3 or 4 machines plugged in on another outlet on the same wall, but on the other side, those are the same circuit breaker. So we want to make sure that you understand this because you need separate circuit breakers. These machines have heating elements inside and these machines draw a lot of amps. Therefore, your amp draw on each machine is going to be anywhere from 5 to 8 amps per machine. As you can be aware, if it's a 20 amp breaker, 5, 10, 15, 8 and 8 is 16, you get the point. 2 to 3 machines per circuit is where you're going to be safe. And most importantly, do not use a GFI or GFCI, GCFI, whatever the terminology is. What this is one of those outlets that has the reset switch on it. Just don't use those because those seem to trip with these machines. And of course, make sure you use the right size power cord for these. If you have a super small, really small power cord, like this small, your machine has a lot larger power cord, probably something like this. Actually, if you're trying to use a cord like this, but your machine takes something like this, we would not recommend that. Make sure that you use a larger gauge than what the machine power cord comes with. Just simply look at the machine power cord and use a larger gauge for any extension cord. That'll make sure that you're safe because the last thing that we would want is you to use a house type of extension cord on one of these machines. It gets hot, it overheats, it blows the circuit, or worse, it causes a fire. These are some safety precautions. It didn't really cover the rental, but all of this is on one video as this is where we direct people to prior to renting so you do know and you are aware of how these machines operate. And of course, if you have any questions, please do contact us, rentals@cryofx.com. Thank you for watching this video, and this is CryoFX Rentals.